Welcome once again to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger.
Go, go, Ranger Danger! Ooh. Go, go, Ranger Danger! Ooh. Go, go, Ranger Danger! Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger!
This is the podcast where we watch one of the series of teleplays entitled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then afterwards we sit around and then we discuss the ideas and themes present in these teleplays.
I can't believe we're 46 episodes in and we still haven't written a good version of
Stop
that yet.
trying to make it sound sophisticated.
You're a professional writer and we still haven't come up with a good version of that sentence.
Because I don't write them before I say them.
Stop trying to make it sound sophisticated. This isn't sophisticated.
We're incredibly sophisticated. My name is Matt.
I'm Michael.
I'm Amanda.
Amanda's back with us once again. We'll be watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episode To Flee or Not to Flee, which is episode number 46.
Yes, it is.
I would like to say I'm excited about that, but I'm not.
I mean, here's what I think we're going to get. I think we're going to get a flea monster.
Yep.
I think we may, at some point, it may induce terror.
That's kind of been done recently, twice.
Yeah, that's exactly why I think this show will go to that well again.
Okay. Yeah, three times the charm.
And I think if we're lucky, we will get some quoting of Shakespeare.
That'd be nice.
I think you're being rather ambitious with the Shakespeare.
I'm always being ambitious with this show. I'm always hopeful that this show will be miles better than it actually is.
You have to, so we keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we get to that, do we have something that we'd like to discuss?
Yeah, okay. So, Matt, we've talked in the past about what our ideal Power Rangers game would look like.
Yes.
And I don't know why I haven't brought this up before. There's a game that was kickstarted several months ago, or nearly a year ago, called Chroma Squad.
Yep.
And what Chroma Squad is, and I'll bring it up on the screen for you guys to see, is it's not quite a Power Rangers game.
I really love it.
It's like a Sentai studio game where you create your own Sentai team.
Yep.
And like can film fights and are producing a Sentai show.
What?
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yes.
This sounds amazing.
Yes, it does. And for some reason, I genuinely could not tell you why I didn't back it when it was out.
I can't tell you why you didn't tell me about this.
No, I don't remember. I think this was before we were talking about Power Rangers.
Okay.
And I think it was, in fact, before I got, like, really onto Kickstarter, is what I think it was. And so the reason it's come up kind of this last week to talk about is they got a letter from Saban.
Oh, no.
Basically saying, negotiate with us or die.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm not a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel to me like there'd be any actual legitimate claim because Saban don't own the concept of Sentai.
Yeah.
But also, I can't imagine that they'd send that letter without at least expecting that they could muscle their way to a victory.
Yeah, but sometimes, in a sort of desire to be preventative, they can just send letters hoping that they'll scare.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you can't counter-sue someone for threatening to sue you. So they're not risking a whole lot by doing it.
Well, I'm almost...
You actually are almost a lawyer.
Lawyer.
So, do you have any kind of... I mean, without knowing any specifics, obviously.
It's very hard if you don't know specifics, because everything is in the specifics. But just looking at the picture of the Sentai studio sort of thing, they've clearly used the image of the Power Ranger, and I think that is one of the big issues here.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, maybe they don't own the concept of someone who transforms.
But they own specific expressions.
Yeah, that image is very clearly Power Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It does look like they're negotiating, and it's not going to kill the game.
Yeah.
And, possibly, maybe a good game developer working with Saban could be good for Power Rangers games.
Yeah.
Because...
they sure as shit need it.
There hasn't been many good Power Rangers games so far.
Certainly in the past decade.
So, that could be good for it. I'd imagine that someone will make a mobile Power Rangers game when the movie comes out. So, that could be good for them. But, it's just a shame to see that kind of...
behaviour.
Especially given how tolerant they are of a lot of fan kind of behaviour.
Yep.
I guess once money gets involved, it starts.
Yeah, it's about making money off it.
It's a shame, but the game looks great, and my understanding is it is very close to being out.
Okay.
So as soon as it is out, I imagine Matt and I will both be getting it.
Yeah, I expect so.
And we will definitely be talking about it on the show. So you can check that out at chromasquad.com. There'll be a link in the show notes. And you can pre-order it. I mean, I don't want to sound like we're getting paid by them or anything.
Yeah.
It just looks cool, and we think that if you like us, you would like it as well.
Yeah.
So go check that out. As I said, link in the show notes. And if we hear any more on that development, we'll let you know as soon as we know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Power Ranger relatedly?
I don't think so. I feel like there's been some news recently, but I can't bring it to mind.
There were the new Legacy toys.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
The Legacy Saban and Legacy White Tigerzord.
Yeah, the Legacy Saban in particular is something that if I had money, I would be all over it.
Yep. I'm deciding on the Tigerzord.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet.
Feels like having the Tigerzord without the Legacy Thunderzord would be kind of weird.
I mean, yeah, I've got the Megazord and Dragonzord on their way.
Oh, wow, okay.
I
did not know that.
No, I have been trying to forget that I spent so much money on Power Rangers toys.
Right.
And I feel like I could stop there.
Yep.
But if I get the White Tigerzord and the Thunderzords come out,
yep,
I have to get the Thunderzords.
Yep.
And then I just have to get all of them.
There's another good reason to get the Thunderzords.
Which is?
They're the objectively best Megazords.
I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily true.
I do.
I mean, I'm uncomfortable with you holding such a strong stance on objectively the best, given that, like, I'm not allowed to say things that are objectively the best.
But you do, every day.
I know, but you get upset and we talk for 10 minutes about why they're better or worse.
I'm not going to start a whole Batman reboot thing with you, like...
But I think they're definitely great Zords.
Yeah.
I mean, like, top 5, certainly.
5?
Yeah.
Can we have the discussion now about what's in your top 5?
No, because I couldn't exactly tell you what's in my top 5 without getting a list out of all the Zords.
Okay.
And I think what we should do is rank them as we see them.
Yeah, that's certainly the smart way to do it.
Yeah. Which means we've got a second one coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, well, in a couple of months.
I mean, that's soon.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got to keep pushing forward
to
get to something good.
Eyes on the prize.
Are we hopeful about to flee or not to flee?
No.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that one of us would have some kind of semblance of maybe this is not going to be terrible, but let's go see how it is. And we'll be back in a sec.
See you soon, guys. Welcome back. We just watched episode 46, To Flee or Not to Flee. But while we were doing that, we also just found out, because we're recording this during San Diego Comic-Con, that Shoutbox, who are the people who have been releasing...
Just Shout.
Oh, sorry. Where does Shoutbox come from?
I don't know.
I apologise. Shout, who are the people who release Power Rangers on DVD, are going to be bringing Zyu Ranger to DVD, which is the Sentai that Mighty Morphin is based on.
We're very excited.
That's pretty
Having seen one episode...
Which is markedly better than everything of Power Rangers.
It was incredible. I'm really excited to see that. And
Michael said that it was his favourite announcement from Comic-Con thus far.
I mean, nothing else has happened yet, really. It's a pretty good announcement to start with.
Image Comics have announced like 15 comics I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, those are all pretty good, but Zyu Ranger on DVD...
Yeah. And we were just discussing whether it would be subtitled or dubbed.
Yep.
Obviously, subtitles is the quality way to go.
Yep.
But we were seeing how interesting and bizarre it would be if they got the Power Rangers actors to do the voices.
Even if they just did like one episode like that as like a bonus special feature.
That would be really awesome and weird. Obviously, you couldn't get Twee, because unfortunately she's passed, but the Yellow Ranger's a guy anyway, so I think you just need someone different. But
you'd have to pick an episode with the Green Ranger, wouldn't you? Because you'd have to get Jason David Frank to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be really interesting.
I feel like it'd be really weird.
Yeah, it'd be messed up,
it'd
right?
Be jarring as all shit, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be good.
Yeah, so that's cool. Do you think Blu-ray release, or...?
I mean, the quality is not
good.
Going to be great on the footage just because of its age.
Yeah.
And they never released Power Rangers on Blu-ray. I mean, they can clean it up, because I've been hearing reports that the Batman 66 footage they're showing looks amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
But, it's incredibly expensive, and unless you're going to make, like, billions of dollars, it's not worth doing.
Yeah.
So I'd wager it's probably just a DVD release.
Yeah.
But, more news when we come to that. I'd say that'll be sometime in the next couple of months or something.
How long is that series?
It's like 50-something episodes.
So it would be a decent...
It'll be a solid couple of discs.
And they'd be doing the whole thing.
I'd say so. I'm kind of hopeful that it means we get, a whole string of, like, a partnership with Toei and just all of them and, like the most recent seasons and do all that stuff. But we'll see. I guess it depends how well the first one sells.
I'd be really interested to see whatever's after Zaya Ranger that we never got to see adapted.
That we only got to see, like,
the Zords and stuff.
Brief shots of and stuff. Yeah.
Because I really like those outfits. I thought they were...
Yep.
Like, I mentioned the Thunder Zord was my favourite Zord. Those outfits are my favourite outfits. Like, the design sense is just great on that one.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anything that comes out, we are obliged to purchase and report back to you on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we would do an episode for every episode of Zaya Rangers.
No.
We don't have that sort of time, unfortunately.
No.
But
that would drag this out to 50 years instead of the 30 that it's already going to take.
That's right.
And then you die.
Yep. Pretty much.
That's depressing.
Wow, yeah, great. So let's talk about to flee or not to flee, yeah?
Yeah. So we open with very somber, sad music.
Can I ask, before we start, what did you guys think
of the episode?
Yeah.
When I was saying last episode that I prefer that sort of episode to a very standard, straight, boring... This is the sort of episode I was thinking.
Yeah, fair enough.
It plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out.
More or less,
no surprises. Yeah.
It's very standard. I felt like I almost drifted off, like, in the middle there, because I was just like, I know where this is going.
I also kind of felt that way, but I feel that way second episodes normally.
Yeah. Just to fill you guys in when you're listening, we actually record 2 episodes...
They know, we've talked about it before.
Okay, well, we record for people who knew.
Okay, sure.
Record 2 episodes a day every time, so we do it every fortnight. So what you heard last week is what we just watched. And we get a bit deflated on the second one.
Yeah, it's just, by the time you've been doing this for 2 hours, 2.5 hours,
Yeah, and when it's a very plain episode like that
this one, yeah.
That does take a bit out of you, I guess.
Yeah. And that's an excuse for me, I'm about to yawn. So
okay, you just want us to justify it.
Yeah. Alright, so, sad music.
Yep.
Zach's holding a can.
When we say sad music, we mean a sad, somber version of the Power Rangers theme.
Imagine the Power Rangers theme crossed with the sad music from Scrubs.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this is.
It's pretty sad, to be fair. Zach's shaking a can around trying to get money to save the youth centre / juice bar.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's donating.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I mean, here's the thing. It's the only place in Angel Grove.
Yeah.
Like, that place, every child in Angel Grove is constantly there.
Yeah.
First, Ernie must be doing something dodgy to be losing all his money. Like...
Well, we know what he does. He offers free food to everyone.
Yeah, he is terrible at his job.
He's a bad businessman, unfortunately.
And I like how they have this sign up, this beautifully, like, decorated sign that says, going out of business. And that's it. It's like, not like, sale or please donate or anything. It's just, we're going out of business.
It's just to let you know. It's just information. It's not like...
There's Ernie immediately giving up.
Yeah. Oh, he's pretty down in this episode.
He looks super depressed, and it's kind of heartbreaking, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we find out that Billy's on his computer looking at Ernie's finances.
The 1993 equivalent of an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. And things are looking very dire.
Long story short, he's making less money than he's spending.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's bad for a business.
It
Who
sure
would have
is.
thought?
I know, right?
Yeah. So dire things are happening and all is wrong with the world until we turn around and Jason's there with a cute puppy in his hands.
So the guys are having a conversation and Jason says, "Hey guys, how's Ernie?" And as he says that, the camera pans over to him and he's just holding a dog.
It's a big dog.
It's a cute dog.
It's a fluffy dog.
It's like a Labradoodle or something. It's adorable.
Terrible at dog breeds, but sure.
Yeah. So that's cute. Lifts the
And
mood a little
everyone
bit.
immediately forgets about Ernie. It's
Of
like,
course
dog!
there's a puppy.
Yeah.
Puppies are distracting and adorable. That's just a science.
Like, where'd you get the dog? Oh, he followed me, so I just took him.
Which is a solid reason to do something.
Yep. If people follow you, just take them wherever you go.
Yeah.
I know that's how I collect people.
Okay.
So, look, there's a sign up in the school. There's a lost dog. There's a finder's fee for the lost dog. If you can guess how this episode is going to end, you get no points because so could a 6-year-old.
Bulk and Skull find the sign, and it mentions a monetary reward and they decide they're going to find the dog and get the reward.
Yep.
Is the long and short of that.
And they take down the sign so that no one else can find the dog and collect the reward.
Which is reasonably clever if, like, not conducive to getting the dog found.
Yeah, it's kind of
because that's assuming that they're going to be the ones to find the dog.
Yes.
And also, the sign, this episode is just full of lovely design elements. It says Lost Doggy and it has dollar signs next to it.
Which gets the message across.
Yeah, lost dog, money. That's all you need to know.
Communicates the ideas.
So we're on the moon.
Yep.
And there's Finster. We haven't seen Finster.
I wrote that down. Oh, so good to see Finster. And to see Finster making monsters with his monster machine.
Even if the monster is kind of terrible.
Yeah.
So the Fighting Flea.
Yep.
Yeah, he makes a giant flea that talks.
Yep.
In the high-pitched, sort of squeaky
And unfortunately,
voice.
it's not like a flea crossed with a unicorn, or it's
No,
not
it's a flea crossed with a person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a pretty straight up. Exactly what you think. Like, it's kind of creepy.
The voice is different to normal, in
Yeah.
that it's kind of high-pitched and lady-ish,
Yeah.
rather than our normal, just get a dude
Which
off the
makes
street.
her like... I'm referring to the flea as a her, because it sounds a bit like her. Which makes the overtures towards the Red Ranger kind of more, like...
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Jason. Yeah? Goldar wants him. Fighting Flea wants him.
Why?
He's a very popular dude.
Why?
You've seen him without his shirt off.
Yeah,
They saw
why?
that-
He's got his shirt on.
They saw that footage of his nips, and they're like, we need that.
Can you stop saying the word nips? I feel like if we go 700 more episodes of this podcast, we never again say the word nips. That will be a success.
Look, I choose words that I feel best effectively convey what happened on screen. It was weird and creepy, so I say nips.
Alright, there you go. So, Rita puts the flea on the dog,
Yep.
and then Jason pets the dog, and the flea jumps to Jason.
Why did Rita put the flea on Jason? Is that the question you're going to ask?
Yeah, that was my question, but I figured it out. Because the flea remains on the dog and passes like an infection to Jason,
Right, yeah.
not the flea itself.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, when Jason touches the dog, he starts, spoilers, he gets itchy and starts scratching. But the flea stays with the dog.
Yeah.
So if she put the flea on Jason, Jason wouldn't have been itchy.
Yeah.
But anyone who touched him would have.
But the dog seems distressed, so it was clearly not
Yeah.
healthy for the dog. Anyway,
Anyway,
that is what it is.
It's a flea. It goes on a dog. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And the rash that Jason gets when he touches the dog is shown by red spots that kind of dance.
Look like they're drawn onto the footage.
Yeah. Well, that's because they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cheap effect, but it's a reasonably effective one. It's
It gets
showing
the
what's
idea
going
across.
on, and these days it'd probably just glow or something.
Well, the spots did kind of glow as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So they send down the putties to take down the Rangers once and for all.
Oh, it's only Kimberly and Jason together in the park.
And also, they fought putties a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times it's taken down a Ranger once and for all?
Not ever.
Yeah, not ever. It has never been successful. It's occasionally been close to successful, but...
More by accident than anything else.
I mean...
If they just sent waves of them, one after the other...
Yes, if they didn't go down 5...
Yeah.
200, they'd be screwed.
Yeah.
That's not ever going to happen. Although I do feel like the volume of enemies that they fight does increase in the future.
Yeah.
Like, they start sitting down 10.
Yeah.
Because the budget increases.
Slightly, yeah.
They can hire more Kimps.
So what they discover is that Jason can transfer his flea infection to the putties.
Which is kind
by
of ingenious.
touch. Yeah.
This is the one clever bit of the episode, I think. Jason realizes that he can transfer the flea, so he uses that to fight the putties.
Yep.
And Kimberly sort of corrals him into being near Jason so he can defeat them using the fleas.
It's nice.
Yeah. I mean...
Teamwork.
It would be cool if he used it on something that he couldn't normally defeat anyway.
Yes.
Just by punching them.
Yeah.
But,
that was my thought. Remember last time with the putties and they had lost their self-confidence?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it's nice to see them, be beaten down a bit and then triumph.
Yeah.
But
it builds the stakes a bit.
It would be better if they weren't beaten down a bit because they'd had some stupid,
bad dream.
Yeah, affliction happened to them.
Yeah, if the putties were just kind of overwhelming.
Just better than them, and then they won anyway.
Yeah.
Rather than, I've got fleas, so I'm going to lose. Oh no, I can use my fleas to win.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, it'd be nice if when those putties got that upgrade that they got, that the result of that was the putties were much tougher and it presented a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
Rather than they get once-off guns that destroy them.
We've never seen those again, have
No.
we? Alright, so they go back to the command
No,
center.
in the meantime, the dog.
Oh, yeah, alright, let's talk about the dog and Bulk and Skull. I don't write notes about Bulk and Skull segments because I just...
No one cares.
Bulk and Skull have lured the dog away with the intent of claiming the reward. They go to a phone booth that is literally just in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that was a thing?
What's the Bill and Ted version of the TARDIS called?
Wasn't it just a phone booth?
Yeah, I don't know if
Okay,
it's a
well,
name.
it looks like that,
Yeah.
basically.
But it is
You mean it looks like a phone booth?
Yes.
He's literally just standing in the middle of, like, a green oval.
But I think that's why it looks like that. It looks out of place.
It looks really out of place.
Yeah.
So look, Bulk tries to make a phone call. They both get itchy. Fighting Flea spawns. They run
Sounds
away.
like a strange 4-year-old. It's weird.
Yeah, they run away. It's not great.
Yeah. But just so we know what happened to the dog.
Sure, yeah, let's track the dogs up.
Yeah.
Bulk and Skull.
Eh.
So they go back to the command center, and Zach tells Jason that that's one heavy-duty rash, dude.
No, that's Alpha.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah,
Of course
Alpha.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's good to see Alpha getting to use his weird 90s lingo again.
Yeah.
That's something. Like Finster,
How
it's kind of
can
like,
he pick up
oh,
weird 90s lingo if he's a robot and, presumably isolated?
I can tell you why. Because he has a magic globe that Zordon he used to spy on everyone and everything at all times.
That's creepy.
Do you reckon
It
they use
is
for
creepy.
creepy things.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's just a head in a tube.
Yeah, but as was pointed out by Amanda just now, he's picked up 90s culture, which means he spent a lot of time watching 90s teens.
Yep.
Yeah, that's weird.
The
isn't
facts
it?
are there.
Maybe he looks away when he turns around in his tube,
Do
so you can just see the back of his head.
You can still hear them, though.
you think he has a few hairs back there that he missed? When he was-
Well, because he can't see.
Yeah.
I mean, Alpha did it, presumably.
Yeah.
Not that he's an actual head.
No. Yeah. We still don't really know what he is.
Yeah,
Isn't he? He's a person trapped in another dimension, isn't it?
Well, it's some sort of time warp device, but it's unclear as to whether there is a Zordon person in another dimension or
If he's now just like a pure
energy.
theoretical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the film, he's like a person in stasis at the bottom of the tube.
Yeah.
But there's never an indication that is also true.
No, in
For
fact,
the TV show.
to when we get further towards
Yes.
later stuff, it's actually shown that's not the case.
It's definitely an energy kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But yeah, there's a few different things that indicate that the Power Rangers film, the first one, is like a
Yes.
separate universe, an alternate universe, because there's quite a few things that are different in that world. It's weird.
We'll get up to that.
Yeah.
That's not that far away.
And then they have Crisis on Multiple Earths, where the two teams of Power Rangers team up and stop the destruction of the multiverse.
No, you're confusing that with good comics.
Oh. Damn. That's unfortunate.
It is. Jesus. Okay, so Zordon says Rita has finally hatched her evil Fighting Flea.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he has to have known about everything in advance.
Yeah.
Everything has to be, oh, yeah, she's finally got the flea out.
Yeah.
I remember
I
that.
saw that coming, because
Yeah.
I'm wise.
I mean, could you not have, if you ever meet a stray dog, there may be a flea monster.
I like how they immediately... So far, the only thing they've seen is putties.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as they know, Jason found a stray dog and now has a rash.
Are you suggesting that it might just be fleas?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, except Zordon knows about Rita's flea monster.
Yeah, and, he doesn't think Jason could just have fleas since he's playing with a stray dog. He thinks, flea monster.
I think it's one of those things where if you fight a moon witch every week, eventually you assume that all the bad things that happen to you are because of the moon witch.
Yeah.
Like, he gets a flat tire, and he's like, oh, Rita's given me a flat tire.
It's going to turn into a tire monster.
Yeah, exactly. There's some sort of puncture demon running around. Yeah.
It just seems highly unfair
I mean,
to blame her for everything.
But given how many things are her fault...
Yeah, I think she's earned it. I don't feel pity for her.
If she wants things to not be blamed on her, she should stop sending flea monsters to Earth. I
think Jason has to accept some responsibility for... You found this stray dog, like, it doesn't appear to have any tags or anything, it looked a bit dirty, and you played with it, and you got fleas. What did you expect?
Not magical fleas.
Well, he doesn't know they're magic.
So... Billy goes to his lab
Yep.
to do some science.
Yep.
He's going to synthesize an antidote, which, as everyone knows, can be done for anything.
Yes.
Um,
Especially if you use blue fluid.
Yeah.
And
Bubbling blue fluid.
we get some of the somber science music, which is some of my favourite music. In Billy looking very somber. Is he somberly doing science in his somber science lab?
But Jason has decided that he can't, do other things. He has to go find this dog because he feels responsible. Yep. So Kimberly goes
He's
with
like,
him.
what if other people touch the dog and then they get itchy? I'll feel responsible.
That was a pretty good reasoning. Like, when he was just like, I have to go find the dog, I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, oh, but he might infect other people. And I was like, okay, that's a solid motivation.
Yeah.
Good work, writing staff. You've earned your sandwich for today.
Now, Kimberly says, I hope the dog doesn't run to the junkyard while she's surrounded by old TVs and scrap metal.
Yeah.
So presumably that's not the junkyard. That's just the rubbish part of the park.
It's the entrance to the...
Okay, fine.
Although when we get to the junkyard, there's no junk.
No, it's a quarry.
It's a quarry. It's the same quarry.
What do they mine?
No, nothing. It's an abandoned quarry. Otherwise people would get hurt, Amanda.
Yeah, no one gets hurt on this show. It's abandoned. They used to mine Power Rangium.
Wow.
You don't know. The best thing is you don't know if I'm making that up or if I'm remembering that from another episode of the show.
Pretty positive you're making that up.
You'll never know.
It would be Morphium, I think.
Yeah, I think Morphium is definitely a thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's what the morphers are made out of.
Morphium. Yeah. Solid Morphium.
Solid Morphium. 24 karat Morphium. Oh, God. I don't know why I find this so funny.
We're devolving into madness, I think. 3 episodes till Tommy's back, you guys. Hang in there.
Okay, so Kimberly and Jason fight the monster for a bit.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Kimberly very clearly touches Jason.
Yes.
And yet does not get infected.
No, I noticed that, yeah.
The rules are fluid. Who knows?
Yeah.
Jason...
Maybe the fleas just don't like girls.
That's possible. Girls do have cooties.
Yeah.
Jason freaks out when he morphs and has he's doing backflips.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's creative.
He's going a little overacting for this show.
Yeah.
But, what you going to do?
It's because he's super itchy. He's just so itchy he has to do backflips.
So they fight for a bit.
Yeah.
And then they call the other Rangers.
Yeah.
And we get something that I don't think we've seen before, which is an interruption of a morphing sequence.
Yeah, I really like this.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
So Trini and Zach are back at the command center because they don't give a shit about finding the dog and can't help Billy with his science. So
no, they're in the juice bar.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they see the dog.
Yeah.
Because the dog is at the juice bar now.
Yeah, and Ernie's feeding him.
Yeah.
Establishing that Ernie's a really nice dude.
He's feeding the dog chili. Doesn't that give dogs,
Yeah, he's going to regret that decision
it's
later.
not his dog. Someone's going to come claim it, so he doesn't have to worry.
But he does get a line saying, oh, I wish all the customers were as loyal as this dog. And I was like, oh, that's just bleak, dude.
It's like that thing where, something goes bad and the only way to deal with it is to make, terrible jokes about it.
Yeah.
Man, I wish everyone ate as much as this dog.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't be going out of business.
Yeah.
when they say chili, when Americans say chili, they mean, salsa, don't they?
It's like, I'm going to get corrected by our American listeners, I think, but it's like a mince and chili, a spiced mince, sort of. Like, if you have a chili dog, it's a hot dog covered in, spiced mince stuff.
So...
Okay, I believe it's what we refer to as chili con carne.
Yeah.
They just have abbreviated it. I'm trying to find a picture. Hold on.
I don't even know what chili con carne is. What is that?
It's like spicy mince.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, here's a picture, and I'll link to it in the show notes. It's like...
You don't just eat it like that, do you?
Yeah.
Why?
It's like a tomato sauce. You eat it with cheese, and you might have, a nacho or a chip of some sort.
You might put it on nachos.
It's
not, sometimes get on.
But it's
But
not.
you don't just eat it like that.
You can.
It's not a dissimilar dish to like spaghetti bolognese.
But there's no spaghetti.
I think it's very useful in winter, in really cold winters, because it warms you up. It's a very hearty meal with a lot of spice in it.
Anyway, that's been Mighty Morphin Chili Danger. Okay, so Billy interrupts the morphing sequence.
Yeah.
To say, I've got the antidote, I'll go help.
I think what he says is, we're on the way, Jason, which is kind of cool, because you see Zach morph, Trini morph, and then cut to Billy, and he's like, alright, got the cure, I'm on my way.
Morphin type.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's dynamic. It adds some energy to the morphing sequence.
I feel like this series, this Power Rangers, has lowered your expectations for what cool is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not cool, like, on a scale of 1 to cool, but on a scale of 1 to Power Rangers cool, it's cool.
Yeah, I think this is one of the few little things in this episode that indicates to a very small increase in quality.
I'm not saying I'd want to go to the movies and watch this for 2 hours,
Yeah.
but when I have to watch this show for 20 minutes, I'd rather that it be the best version of this show that it can be.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So Billy has an invention, which is it's just a spray can.
Yep.
But it's one of the things, there were, I think, 3 things that they told the Japanese crew filming this new footage about the show that they should try to incorporate. So one of those things is Billy invents things. Our Blue Ranger is a scientist.
So we want to see that.
Give him gadgets and stuff.
Yep.
And so there's a couple of episodes coming up where he's got
a solution.
Devices and things.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the other ones that we'll see a bit later is that the Green and Pink Rangers have a romantic relationship. So we'll see that reflected a bit when they're Rangers.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
I
think that the Yellow Ranger is a lady now, so can we see the Yellow and Pink Rangers have a bit of a closer friendship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, they're ladies. Only ladies and can be friends with other ladies.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not actually friends with either of you.
Yeah. We sense that.
Oh.
This got sad. This is a sad, somber episode of Ranger Danger. Everyone joins the fight. Billy's able to cure Jason, so that solves that problem.
Yep.
Dust off hands.
Yep.
And Rita realizes that this means the fight's no longer going her way. And we'll solve this problem by making the monster grow, because that solves these things.
Oh, sorry. This was the third thing.
It
was that the Zyu Rangers were magic.
Yeah.
But the Power Rangers are science technology.
Right.
So they solve problems like
with science.
Science-y. They put their communicators to their mouths to talk when they're morphed.
Yeah.
Rather than using telepathy. That sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Aside from Zordon in the last episode.
Yeah, that's just, Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's a cool thing. That's a good point. That there's nothing, except for Rita, explicitly magical in that world. It is, technology-based.
It really is a show about magic versus science.
Yeah. With science winning, which is how it should be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And how magic just can make things giant, but that's no match for robots.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
maybe she's just really good at this one spell. Like, there's other spells in the world, but she can only do this one.
I mean, I'd imagine
like how what's his name is only good at Obliviate.
Okay, so it's she's just practiced makes my monster grow so much that she just uses it to solve all her problems.
Yeah.
Right.
That's consistent with the show's mythology.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of her problems are, I need to squash these 5 guys.
Yeah.
So making a monster grow is a reasonable solution to that.
Yeah, I'm not faulting her.
Would she be able to make a giant monster grow?
Oh. Presumably not. Otherwise she would.
Maybe she could, but she doesn't want to, because otherwise it'll squash the entire world, and what's the point of conquering the world if it's squashed?
That's fair.
Fair point. Or maybe Ted would just be outside the atmosphere and not be able to breathe.
Yeah. Do they need to breathe, though, because they're on the moon? And they're made of
I feel like they've got an oxygenated area on the moon.
I mean,
like the Inhumans, they're in the blue area of the moon.
They can come to Earth and, because if it was a vacuum, they wouldn't be able to talk. They wouldn't be able to hear each other, even if they could, speak and breathe.
Mm.
So, there's definitely some sort of medium where they could speak through. There, good. Science, see? Beats your magic. I mean, it's probably a magic area of air. But anyway. So, I'd just like to raise a point.
Yeah, I love points.
We've seen a lot of giant monster shots in the show. Every time I see one, I go, oh yeah, he's standing closer to the camera.
Yeah.
But they really work.
Yeah.
They feel like giant monsters.
Yep.
And it's nice that that's a trick that works, even though I know how they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, forced perspective is a clever thing.
Yeah.
And when you know how to do it right, it looks cool. And because it's a practical effect, it's always going to look better than shitty CGI.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So they summon the Megazord.
Yep.
And we get the full sequence, because clearly they're padding out time. We see everything, including the Megazord in its tank thing, fire its cannons.
Yeah, I don't know that we've seen that before.
I think we have once or twice, but it's very rare. And then when they're fighting, we see another forced perspective shot.
Yeah, so there's some, like, on-location Megazord fighting shots.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've ever... I think that's the first time.
Yeah, so instead of having their sort of staged... their set, that's their giant area.
Which has always got the camera at, like, one of two distances fixed.
Yeah. They've got them fighting the quarry with a bit of forced perspective stuff, so it looks like they're fighting in this real quarry. The Megazord is in a real quarry. It's awesome.
Great. I wish they'd do that sort of thing more often.
Yeah, but then it's super jarring when they cut back
To what's obviously a set,
Yeah.
Because it has no, like, perspective at all on it.
Yeah, but kudos to them to try new things, listen to the game. You know, I approve.
Especially given that they were shooting this for probably not a lot of money
Yeah.
for only for only an American audience.
Yep.
It's nice that they maybe went, okay, well, if we're going to get to this, let's experiment with some stuff. And
Yeah, they weren't phoning it in, they were trying.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
The
The fight's pretty lame, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, it's a fight against a giant flea monster.
Yeah.
They destroy it.
Yeah.
The sword comes down, it uses the same sword thing that they've done in the past 10 episodes now.
Yeah, they do use the power sword a lot.
Yeah. I think this stretch is getting a little repetitive.
Yeah.
The flea monster appeared to be winning until they brought out the sword.
That's usually how it works,
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the sword, and I was like, oh, maybe they'll win, and then they'll come back and do... No.
They just... Yeah, when it looks bad, call the sword.
Yeah.
You're all good. Rita really needs a plan to take the power sword out of the atmosphere somehow.
Or give a monster a sword.
Yeah.
Or a shield. Or, like,
I'm pretty sure Kanase Knight had a shield.
any kind of defensive ability.
He needs the things Batman has on his arms.
Oh, like spiky things on his arms
Yeah.
to, like, grab it and knock it away.
No, he could do it with both and shatter the sword like Batman does to Raz at the end of Batman Begins. And then Power Sword's fucked, Power Rangers fucked, Rita wins.
Man, can you imagine if the giant sword got destroyed?
Yeah.
And, like, it was just bits of the giant sword all around Angel Grove?
Yeah.
Like, enterprising, like, smelters
Yeah.
are, like, chipping off bits of it to take back. Can I say
Cause a
something
fair
that-
bit of destruction.
Can I say something that bugs me about the power sword?
Yeah.
It comes down, point down.
Yeah.
But they always grab it from the handle.
Yeah.
Like it's come down, handle down into their hand.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
It does a flip halfway through.
Like, if it's going to come down, point down, show it landing and show them grabbing it.
To be fair, they do that sometimes.
Occasionally.
What I'd like to see, I know it's obviously very hard for them to do, would be to have it come down an angle like that. As it's flying past it, they grab the handle as it's like shooting down past them.
You know, that'd be great.
That'd be badass.
But that would also, like, 1993,
Yeah.
you know, you'd
I
see
thought we get that in the movie.
You'd see the wires.
What I'd like to see is they call for the power sword, and then there's a shot of the interior of a plane.
And the sword just goes straight Oh.
We get like 3 minutes of setup of just like this very casual play sequence. People ordering their peanuts and shit.
The light goes on and you can stand up.
Yeah. And then, boom! The cabinet explodes as a giant sword flies through it.
I imagine then you cut to a shot of the outside,
Yeah.
and it's like a tiny model plane,
Yeah.
and so like you can see the guy's hand driving the sword through it.
Oh, dear.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Okay. Yeah, they fight the monster. There's not a lot we can say about these monster fights,
Especially now that they're exactly what you expect.
Yeah.
Can I say this about Billy's antidote?
Yes.
I was impressed that he managed to seal something in a can and aerosolize it, turn it into an aerosol.
You're impressed by that. Do you remember the rad bug? Were you around for the rad
I
bug?
was around for the rad bug. I think I was in the episode where it was introduced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's markedly more impressive than the aerosol can.
I mean, look. I was about to say, like, I couldn't do either of those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the aerosol can is kind of feasible in like real life, as opposed. Well, I don't know if you could do it in your garage. Probably. But-
Probably easier than making
A car that
a
goes the
flying
speed
car.
of light and can
fly.
fly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to agree that is less difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So we're back at the juice bar. Bulk and Skull have got fleas.
Yep.
The Rangers have the dog first.
The Rangers have the dog, and a lady comes to collect it.
Stereotypical rich lady turns up.
Yep. Imagine a rich lady. Yep, it's her.
Yep.
She comes. She says, thank you, Power Rangers. She doesn't say thank you, Power Rangers, but you know what I mean.
She mainly comes in squealing Pierre.
Yep.
Yeah. She's a pretty hilarious rich person's dog name. Like it's
especially, this is not a Pierre, this dog.
Yeah.
This is like a...
Rufus.
Yeah, a Rufus. Something beginning with an R.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she says, there's a reward. Who should I give it to? And the Rangers part like a sea by Moses to reveal Ernie, who must have just been looking at their backs, is the only possible explanation. Because he's there and they go, well, Ernie gave him chili and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. So she gives the check to Ernie. And we don't see how much the check is for because that would reveal how much of a financial hole Ernie is in.
Yeah. But he says, well, that's a lot of money.
Which, I mean...
Well, this doesn't work because the reason Ernie's in the position he's in is because the business isn't
financially
sound. Like, it's set up in a way that's not making... No matter how much that is, unless it's $5 billion, he's going to get back to this position.
Yeah, there's no amount of money that you could give him as a reward for finding her dog.
Yeah.
That would make... Like, it's not that the problem is he's got some unexpected bills.
Yeah.
And he, can't afford to pay them.
Yeah.
Imagine if, one of the monster fights destroyed his house.
Yeah.
And he can't afford... that could have made sense.
Yeah.
And then a single payment would be okay, solved.
Yeah.
The issue is he's not making enough money.
Yeah.
And that's going to just be an issue 12 months from now instead.
Exactly.
Well, maybe it'll stave off closure so he can restructure the business.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'd like to think that you notice that you have to go out, that your business is losing money reasonably before it's we're closing next week.
Well, now the Power Rangers know he's rubbish at business, so Billy can just do his books and such like that.
The problem is that we find out that he's still going to make the same mistakes because...
Immediately, instantly after...
And he's like, hey guys, how about some free burgers and shit?
All of us went, no! That is exactly the reason that you are in a problem, is you keep just giving people food, okay? I understand that, it's a youth centre and it's a juice bar and you want to keep people coming and keep them happy. But, maybe give it to some, underprivileged kids even.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kids who are down on their luck in Angel Grove. The Power Rangers are all pretty well off.
Yeah.
Although none of them have time for jobs.
I'm pretty sure Zordon gives them an allowance.
Oh, there's some sort of...
Where is he getting the money?
He's had a bank account for 10,000 years getting interest.
I think, after a certain amount of time, if you've got a bank account in one name...
No, because
then
Zordon wasn't... Alpha wasn't trapped the whole time. So in the 1940s, Alpha in a fedora went into a bank, deposited a small amount, and the interest... Yeah.
I'd like to make a deposit.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, and Alpha just, goes in and meets with the manager once every couple of years and just... I'm his son now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one notices that it's a robot.
No.
Because even in the 1940s, he looked like a bad sci-fi costume.
Yeah. What are you doing? I'm cosplaying. What's that? Oh, it won't be a thing for 60 years.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our theory on...
Yep. He's had a bank account for 10,000 years,
That's how he affords the computers.
Yeah. It takes a lot of money to maintain 5 giant robots.
Yeah. Even if they're solar-powered, you still need maintenance.
No, yeah, it's not just electricity. It's, they get attacked, you got to repaint them. The paint alone.
There's a lot of money in just cleaning the mud off them.
It's metallic paint. That shit's expensive.
Yeah.
So you think that they can run the entire operation off interest?
Yeah. Well, 10,000 years of interest. I mean, I'm not a bank expert.
I don't think there's a bank that's been open that long.
Really?
A 10,000-year-old bank.
Yeah.
Well, I would say several thousand is okay. I can imagine, in ancient Egypt...
10,000 years... No, but here's the thing. As far as we know, Zordon is an alien.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
so,
true.
Presumably, just because, humanity hasn't had banks for 10,000 years, he has a bank on Edenoi or...
Yeah.
And somehow he managed to convert those dollars to
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Well, or he
American
converted that to resources like gold and brought that gold to Earth, and then sold it.
There's ways to be financially stable. Even I like that we've decided that Zordon is like maybe Zordon could just buy the juice bar.
Yeah,
And Zordon could run it.
Yep.
And Zordon would be behind the bar, and
Yeah.
Alpha would be like serving people drinks.
that'd be amazing.
I would never go to that bar.
I would be there every day.
I'm not going to be served by a giant floating head. That's creepy.
No, he's just like he can't.
He's just there watching you.
Yeah, he's
Like
watching
he
you eat.
has been watching
He's
teenagers for years.
He's chatting. You order a pizza, and he says, "Ah, I knew one day you would choose the pizza."
The Hawaiian, yes, this was destiny.
I don't need anyone being cryptic at me while I eat.
I think it'd be more like him watching you eat and being like, I wish I had a body that looks delicious.
And you just push the pizza into the glass, just smear it all over his face. Whoa, that went somewhere weird. So there's one last thing we have to talk about, which is the Power Rangers being horrifically cruel to Bulk and Skull.
Oh, yeah, gee, I forgot this.
So, okay, they're scratching all over, and I'm pretty sure Jason says, like, look, let's not be too mean about it.
Yeah.
And so they go over to them and say, would you like to, stop itching? And Bulk looks at them like, yes, please, I cannot deal with this. I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
Let's let it end.
Yeah. You feel like you can't even say it. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah,
So Billy has presumably put his spray on some dog collars and puts the dog collars on Bulk and Skull and tells them to wear them for a week. Which is just a horrific thing to do to a human being.
they've got little bones dangling.
Yeah, it's profoundly demeaning.
It's just, yeah, I mean...
This was a chance to be like, yeah, the Power Rangers can turn the other cheek and help out people who haven't necessarily been nice to them because they're good people.
No. They can do that, but only by being cruel at the same time.
Yeah. It's the worst. They're bad people.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. They're not good people.
No, they're the worst people.
I mean, look, to be fair, Bulk and Skull are terrible.
Yeah.
And are consistently terrible and show no signs of wanting to improve.
Yeah, until they get a pig, and then they lose the pig, and then that's the end of their redemption arc.
But this, Billy would have had to put in extra effort to be this much of a jerk.
He was prepared to be cruel to them.
Yes.
Yeah. He wouldn't have just whipped out the spray like he did with Jason. No, he had to build a dog collar with a little bone.
Yep.
Which, and probably take it for engraving. That takes a while.
Yeah, I think this makes the Power Rangers as bad as Bulk and Skull.
I mean, not as bad because this is the first time rather than the 46th time.
But it's pretty...
But it's not good.
But Bulk and Skull are more opportunistic.
Yes.
Whereas this is just malicious.
This is a prepared...
There's no gain for them to do this. The only benefit is that they get to demean another human being.
And it makes them feel powerful.
Yeah.
I want to also mention that when Ernie got his check... I'm jumping back a little bit here.
Go for it.
When Ernie got his check for the reward for the dog, one of the Rangers said something like, "Oh, good things happen to good people." Like that was the moral of the story. So if something bad happens to you, it's your fault. Because you're bad.
Yeah, they immediately trash that moral by being the worst.
Yep. So, this episode ends on kind of a downer.
Yeah. But, having talked through it, there were a few very brief moments where I was like, okay, this is slightly improving. Maybe we're going to be okay as people watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Amanda.
Yeah.
No worries.
We're sure we'll have you back sometime since you're a rock star, apparently, and people love you.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. Woo.
So we'll be back next week with episode 47.
Yep.
Which is called...
I don't know.
Something of the something.
It was
Reign of the
jellyfish?
Yes, Reign of the Jellyfish and then Terror of the Mantis, I believe it was.
Yeah. We're going animal themed now.
Yeah, we're doubling down on it.
Biblical plagues.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure who our guest will be yet.
No.
I might have someone lined up, but we've got to talk.
Might be someone new, might be the return of an old friend, who knows?
No, the return of an old friend is the week after.
Right. So, our website is www.rangerdangerpodcast.com, where you can find show notes and some other stuff, the monster list. Oh, the monster list! We've got to add the fleet to the monster list.
We've got to add the fleet to the monster list.
Wow. Whew.
That's good remembering that.
That was a close one.
Alright, let me bring up the monster list. So let's, while I bring it up, Is he a good monster or a bad monster?
Bad monster.
Okay, I'd agree with you there.
Yep.
How bad?
Pretty bad. Definitely the lower end of the list.
Is he better than Samurai Fan Man?
No, I don't think so. What do you think?
You know, Samurai Fan Man had kind of a cool gimmick.
Yeah, it was a gimmick
aesthetic.
that had already been done by Mr. Sickle Caesar, but at least it was a gimmick.
Yeah. But more charismatic than Giant.
Yeah.
I just remembered something that I was going to say before. The flea makes Jason itch.
Yeah.
Does that impede him in any way?
It does seem to stop him from fighting a little bit.
It's not really a big like problem.
If the flea had gotten all 5 of the Rangers,
I
think it would have been like distracting enough. But because 4 of them could fight the flea off while Jason was like having his attack, no big deal.
I think it makes you itchy, but you can still kind of function.
Yeah.
Maybe not as well, but no. I really kind of didn't see the point in it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he was very slightly more charismatic than, say, Frankenstein or the Giant.
Yep, sure.
So,
is he better than Goldar?
Yes, absolutely.
You really don't like Goldar.
I really don't like Goldar.
Oh, poor Goldar. He comes up with good ideas.
No.
Well, he
No.
He takes the lead on some things, like last episode.
Until he gets very slightly afraid and runs away.
Is he better than...
He's a strategist, not a fighter.
But he's a bad strategist and a bad fighter.
Well, I don't want to say he was better than Rita, because he was, but I like Rita.
Yeah, he wasn't better. Definitely wasn't better than Rita.
Anyway.
That last episode he was.
Sure.
I'm thinking above Giant, below Spider-Tron. What do you reckon?
Yeah, okay, sure.
So that'll put him in
36?
36.
Okay.
Pretty low on the list, but not the worst.
But a pretty terrible monster, all things considered,
That's
so
right.
that's probably fair.
At least he could speak, which made him cooler than the Wheel of Misfortune.
It was just a wheel. Just a wheel!
How often, like, can the monsters usually speak?
Almost always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say, like,
because
but a couple.
Yeah, because I suppose I was struck by this episode, it felt like it was talking a lot. Maybe it was because the voice was kind of...
I think normally they're just like a standard dude voice,
and
this one being like a high-pitched feminine voice was different enough that it was like...
That it kind of stuck out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is another long one.
It has been another one. Good job. We're providing the content.
Yep.
So yes, the monster list, or the monster manifest, as it may be known, can be found on our website. You can also send us an email at mightymorphinrangerdanger@gmail.com.
Yep.
We're at Ranger Decast.
Wait, what did you say our email address was?
rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Sorry, I believe it's the email. We're at Ranger Decast on Twitter.
Yep.
We're on the Stitcher. We're on the iTunes. We're on the YouTubes. And we're on the Facebooks. I think that's everything.
Yeah, it sounds like everything.
Yeah. And yeah, look, if you guys can support us in any way, we really appreciate it. Give us a review on iTunes, preferably a good one. Like us on Facebook, if that's your thing. Subscribe on YouTube, or on iTunes, or on Stitcher, if that's your preference, so you don't miss out an episode.
You can leave comments on our YouTube videos.
Yep.
Comments on our Facebook posts.
We love hearing from you guys all the time.
We I send Matt messages when we get messages, and it makes him chuffed.
Yeah, I get chuffed. So make me chuffed, guys.
Make Matt chuffed.
Yeah, that'll be our slogan. Make Matt chuffed.
Ranger Danger Podcast.
That's a terrible slogan.
Make Matt chuffed.
It's a
Chuff
worse
him.
slogan.
Chuff him good.
Oh, that got weird.
Give him some good chuffing.
A firm chuffing.
Yeah, just chuff him all the way.
Why do things always get weird?
Chuff him right. Okay,
We're weird people.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.